Sunshine, and this is Divine Unisoul Station, and this is the Playground Experience. I have my wonderful co-host here, April Williams, and Kathy D. Yay! So today we're having like a hodgepodge of a meltdown of everything, which is we're going to talk about these energies because these energies are really off of the rockers. Rocker sockers, get your blockers.
Oh my goodness, please. Can I get an exorcism up in here?
Yes.
Is
So
there a
that's
priest in the house?
Yeah, is there a priest in the house? So we're going to
A
talk
high
about these.
priestess, somebody.
Yes. So just very quickly, I had posted on my community tab. It went out. Okay, put it there. Community tab. This Lionsgate opened up a brand new opening of another portal in which her name is Susan. I get the beginning. Susan Inspired. I watch her. CPN Texas hooked me up to her, and she's talking about. She says verbatim, "Wow, that wave this morning. Sandra Walters called it a spot on for this period. Yep, a second gateway opening after the initial 8-8 gateway." What she calls white amplitude, peaking pretty high at 64. But the green frequency movement was big, dropping down to 24 and giving us access to the full range of frequencies available to human beings at this time. So it looks like transformation of hordes whose intent is to wreak havoc, and the wave decimates any energies available to these beings. But friends, it's important at this time to focus on your creations. It's a time when the dark forces are try to distract us with news and steal our energy for their creations. So it's very important to say be conscious in your intentions. There is so much energetic support available for you to receive at this time. And so I know even with me, I went, like I told you all, I went to go get my hair done, and my stylist was talking about, she was talking with a friend, and like whammo, all of a sudden this came out of left field, an argument about something that this young lady said she had been holding for a long period of time. And so it's a lot of people are getting these combustions or conflicts. It looks like it comes from nowhere. And another thing on her video, she stated that they're doing this because they're helping us to get in touch with our shadow side. And doing that, source is going to come through there. She showed on this video where it's like a streak of light because she likes to use like charts in which you can see the actual Schumann resonance spiking up and down. And she showed this like this one little stream of light that was coming in there, and it was busting up this like shadowy part on the graph. And she said the reasons for the shadow bringing more attraction to the shadow aspect for us is because source is trying to bust that up, which goes back to Kathy D's thing of the coffee pot. It's still that little bit there that's still there. We hold it on it. We do not know that it exists. And so this is the purpose for source to do that. And this things blowing up out of the woodwork, these things that have been inside people for long periods of time. They feel like I got it all out because they too are finding themselves that they want to get rid of that coffee pot. Like it's been there for a long time and I want to express it. Now, like she said, the issue is how are you expressing that, or how are you, it's like one person said, it's not about how you react, it's more about how you respond to things. That's the issue of where we are now as far as these energies. So is anything else, ladies, that you experience or seen too, that you've seen maybe on the front of trends and people talking about these new energies that's going on or happening now?
Oh yeah, you get stirring everywhere. But the one thing I think we need to just real quick do a definition of shadow side, because I know there's somebody out there saying, "What's a shadow side?" Shadow sides aren't always bad,
right?
And that's it all works for our good. Everything is working for us. And your shadow side is maybe the side that you don't like to show people. Is that kind of the best way to explain it? Maybe it might be your anger or your jealousy. I guess
it can also be an unconscious kind of behavior.
There we
go. It'll show up itself as like it could show up like martyrdom or self-sacrificing kind of
Right.
thing.
So I knew
It'll
April
show
would
itself
know.
as procrastination,
Right.
self-sabotage. There's all kinds of really wonderful ways that the shadow can show up, because it's also part of that victimization, right? It's disempowered, and it's often very reactive. I like how she put out reactive versus responsive, because the response takes some thought. There's usually, they call it a response unit for a reason. They're not reacting or just, putting band-aids, throwing a pack of band-aids at the thing. They're like, oh no, this person has a broken arm. Let's assess the scene. Is it safe? Can we get them out of here safely? That's a correct and well thought out response. That's kind of taking in all of the factors. Whereas the reaction, it's usually the shadow self does react, because it's reacting immediately to light, right? When does a shadow appear? It only appears when light is being shown on it. And you have to get the light from all the directions in order to see all the different aspects of the shadow. And the shadow is a very tricky thing sometimes, because we sometimes identify it as part of our self or our ego. Like, I'm always the last person picked for, the promotion or the job, or, for teams in school. It's like some kind of, it's an interesting pattern that's getting shaved out.
And let something happen, and that's when your shadow side will come out too, is the way you respond. The that initial response, if it's, something breaks and then you pick it up and you throw something else, or you cuss and you flail and you throw a fit. Usually, because those are reactions. Those are those quick reactions before we've had time to respond to the situation. That's when that's the time you'll see your shadow side. So be mindful of those quick things. May cut you off in traffic. You're gonna see your shadow side 9 times out of 10, unless you've gotten to a point where that, okay, I'm getting ready to get in the car, I'm going to drive, and I need to focus, I need to respond. I have a 15-year-old that is driving. And so when she's not on her learner's permit and I'm sitting next to her, she's sitting next to me watching. So I have to be very mindful of responding and not reacting to traffic in Florida. And so, letting people in, well, he cut you off. It's all right. Maybe he has somewhere to go, just, and getting back into the habit. And we talked about this at one of the first playgrounds we did, of as somebody cuts you off or takes off or is flying by you or whatever, and just saying things like, God bless you, or I hope you get there safe. I hope wherever you need to be, you get there safely. And then putting that in her mind, because there's always little eyes watching, or at least for me. So,
and part of that switch over from when you are going from reacting to responding, it actually causes a lot of, it can cause, not always, but it can cause a lot of tension, a lot of stress, because when people are trying to get you into a state, not that they're conscious about it, sometimes they're conscious, sometimes they're unconscious, when they're trying to get you in a state of reaction, if you slow down, it can cause a lot of anxiety. It's almost like an uncomfortable silence, but you're comfortable in that space of saying, well, what's right for me? What's right for this whole situation? Right? What flows best for the actual long-term outcome versus the short-term immediate thing? Because that immediate thing is just going to end up happening again and again. There's not going to be a point in the life of a driver where you don't have the opportunity to get cut off by another driver. Right? It's all about retraining yourself and how you respond to that. And sometimes it can take a lot of friction to do that. So to realize it's not going to be comfortable just switching off a shadow. It's going to take a little bit of rehearse, or even learning to dance with that shadow, right? Like, let's say you, this is the first thing that came in my head, so bear with me here on this horrible analogy, but let's say you are flirty to get your way on something, right? It's going to take a while for you to genuinely turn off that flirtiness if it's automatic, right? Because it's still kind of cute, right? You still like the idea of, hey, I'm getting, someone appeals to me, they like my sexuality, XYZ, but then going into an empowered state of, no, I deserve this space. And it's not about getting it with these types of manipulation techniques. It's about just actually holding the space and saying, yes, this is mine. And learning how to get it different ways, like getting to the number 9. My favorite. Is that my life path number? Anyway, there's several ways to get to the number 9. There's several ways to make sure that you drive safely. There's several ways to make sure that you heal up parts of your childhood where everyone's safe and you're not like just word vomiting all of this trauma onto your kids, or, you know, calling your parents up in the middle of the night saying, you abandoned me. You know, like, we don't need to do that. That's just starting excess drama. But you can journal it out, write a letter, right, Kathy? There's plenty of ways to approach the shadow.
Mm-hmm. And there's ways that you can, once you, as you said, learn to dance with that shadow, take that and channel it into something, you know, better or something good, and use that, you know, energy for something positive. So it's not as maybe destructive or negative as it originally comes out. But the thing is, you have to react, or you have to respond, not react, and sit with it. You know, once you've done it and then you've realized what has happened, then whoa, now, okay, why did I do that? What triggered that? Is it a patterning that I've seen or I've been around? And then you have to kind of, I know for me, like with the driving, I have to make amends with my children. You know, I have to say, I'm sorry, guys, you saw mommy, you know, lose her cool. That wasn't the right way to handle it. I could have handled it better, and I could have done it like this, and I'm sorry. And I hope you guys don't follow suit with that.
I like that. Thanks for that. That's a great tool. Making amends, just having peace in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's nothing more than to the dog. You know, if the dog was the person witness to it, you just, you know, I look over at a big old Sassy and I say, I'm sorry I had to see that, Sassy.
Thank you. Hold on, I'll be here, but he's getting.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, you know, you and I as teachers, that's a component that we're kind of the kids growing up. It depends on the generation, and I'm not blaming it all parents, but there are some parents that's one little component that they forget to kind of pass on to their kids about that. You know, let them see I did wrong, but self-correct too at the same time. And then also when we're practicing parenting, even ourselves, that's another thing that will help us to be able to get out of that patterning of victim or martyrdom or whatever. I talked about that too on a couple of the trigger warnings, that we have to, you know, I now practice a thing where I split myself in two. I have the father within me and the mother. The father will say, okay, that's enough, going on and on, saying you the victim in this situation, and the mother's like, okay, like you saying, what could we have done different? Is there anything that you might have contributed to that? Okay, what could you have done differently as far as handling your shadow, or how you responded to that? Now, you reacted to that, did you? Yeah, I did. Okay, what could you have done differently? So sometimes you got to have that inner parenting too, can help to self-correct that feeling of whatever that you are reacting when you should be responding, or you're in those shadows, and how you can be able to retrain that shadow side too, by going into that nurturing, that parenting mode too. I find that to be very helpful in a lot of things that happen.
You made a great point there, talking about the martyr and the victim and all of that. There's a couple of things. I've just finished the book. It is The Woman That Runs with Wolves. Amazing book, fantastic. And she has one about the late bloomer, and just her analogies are just amazing. But one of the things that was said, you know, as always, I say that, you know, you're a victim the first time. When you let yourself get caught up in it over and over again, you're now a volunteer. So be mindful of those things. But then also, it's one thing to respond to a situation. It's another thing to just blatantly agree so it goes away. That's where you lose your boundaries. Yes. You know, why are you, you know, in situations, especially in abusive situations where they start, why are you so stupid? Why do you always do this to me? This is why you make me so mad. And you respond with, because you're just wanting to just shut up. you're just, I'm sorry, or I apologize. I didn't mean to upset you. You know, I apologize. You see it that way, you know, and trying to skirt it to keep everything fine without keeping your boundaries up by saying, I'm not doing this to you. I'm sorry, or I apologize. That's the word. I apologize that you feel that I am doing this to you, but what I'm doing is I'm handling my business, or I'm taking care of my children, or I am talking with a friend. I am not doing anything to you. So there's a difference between that. We have to be really careful when we respond, how we're responding, if it is for the greater good of all. And that includes us. We have to make sure that that good is for us, and that we're keeping our boundaries up, and that we are, you know, allowing us to still stand firm, but, you know, not being a victim or a martyr or a volunteer.
Right. And that's very important too. You know, I don't know why this quote, it keeps on coming to me by Louise Hayes. What you think about me is none of my business. But you should not at that point think about what's the reaction of the other person. I think a lot of times, especially with divine feminines, we are always, you know, about the reaction of the other person, because we're supposed to be the nurturer, and like, oh, I'm not supposed to, you know, voice my opinion because I'm supposed, my role is to nurture. And sometimes that kind of stops us from being able to really truly stand in our power. That's why we have all that solar plexus energy in issues that they're bringing to me as well, because we're afraid to really stand in it and say, okay, I do it. And the divine masculine does that too as well. It has issues with that, and they don't stand in their power, and they stand in situations a little much longer than they should, because they're not finding a way to really give voice in the way they're saying, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings too. So it goes both ways with the divine feminine and divine masculine energies as well. But the thing is that you, again, like you said, have your healthy boundaries, stand in your power about what it is, and then let the chips lie as they may, or whichever way they might kind of go out there. That's the thing. We should not stop ourselves from really dealing with it. We're scared of what's the reaction of the other person, or things within ourselves. Sometimes we even go off on ourselves with the shadow as well. So we can't really deal like, listen here, we got to do this. I'm sorry that you feel bad that you had to tell that person X, Y, and Z, and you saying, now I got to deal with the reaction of the person. And you have to say, okay, but that's part of growing up. That's spiritual growth. You have to kind of go through that. You can't sit up there and, like you said, okay, that's all right. Yeah, I apologize. I apologize.
Well, and that's something we do need to get used to, is not everybody's going to like us. Not everybody's going to agree with us. It's a matter of, can we actually agree to disagree? Right. Is it okay for us to like hold into that space? Are we, I mean, there's one thing of fitting in, and there's another thing of sacrificing the self. Right. And again, boundaries come into play, even boundaries with yourself and your shadow, right? Mm-hmm. Just because something has been doesn't mean it needs to continue into the future. And, you know, not all things are tolerable, even from yourself, but forgiveness is needed so that you can move forward. Acceptance is needed. Looking at it and seeing what it actually is a very big part of being able to change that in general. I know I've got this on my head. I've had to move this around so many times, but anyway. I accept that I look like I have a dark spider web on my face. And it's for the good of the people. It's for the betterment of us all. These energies seriously have been rough. Some of the downloading and stuff feels like straight up nausea. Like I thought I had vertigo for some reason. I was like, what is this? You mean this water is carrying that kind of weight? It's been very interesting. Like I had a really smooth, I've been dealing with a lot of public agencies, right? It's very interesting because I was finally able to talk to both people in one day, and both people said, it's stuck in the other agency. And I was like, okay, look, this is literally what you both just told me. And I both just spoke to both of you. So I would like you to speak to each other and find out what the actual issue is, because both of you just keep pushing it off on the other one and nothing is getting done. Yeah. And then the same thing happened where they said, okay, if you need assistance, call this number. You call the number and it says, okay, well, do you have an extension number? And then it says, okay, I'll try that extension for you. Do you have an extension number? Okay, I'll try that extension for you. And it just says that on loop. And I'm like, but first of all, there is no extension number. And it doesn't even give you a list of extension numbers. I was just like, what kind of world is this that I'm living in? And then I ended up getting in some kind of random argument that brought up a bunch of like past issues and things that I was like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Let me take a break before I start crying. Although I thought that might get us ratings, so I'll try to work them up. Hold on. Oh, no, I'm not there. Anyway, work up my tears. But it is very intense right now. It is the pressures that they're crunching on all of us to be distracted from what our true mission is. And most of that mission is feeling good and being in that vibration of what it means to feel good and what makes you feel good, or even exploring and allowing yourself to have that joy. Because as soon as you do, more windows start to open up for you. And it's very interesting to see that parallel.
And you have to be very careful right now, because as these negative energies you are able to manifest negatively so much quicker than you can positively.
True.
So we have to be very, very careful. I saw it with my school schedule. I'm like, watch this. I'm going to have 2 classes face-to-face first thing in the morning, and all the rest are going to be e-learning, where I just sit and my classroom has no windows, so I call it the cave. And I'm going to have to sit in the cave, and I'll be here all by myself for the rest of the day. Guess what came out? And sure enough, that's exactly what it's like. So be very mindful. Now, there are positives to that. Now, after 3rd period, I don't have to wear a mask anymore unless I go out on campus. So there are benefits to this, but you have to be very mindful what you're in those moments of being upset, in those little trigger moments. And they're coming. They're almost like machine gun trigger. Have you guys noticed?
Yep.
That
they've been trying.
It's like
because
they're not the big triggers like they used to be. Yeah, they're just little triggers and rapid fire.
They're chipping away. They've been chipping away at us. I feel it. I see it. It's like you could be having the greatest day ever, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, a bird will come out and poop right on your face, and you're just like, "But I had such a wonderful day."
Or you have a frog in your bed.
That was kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. It was like as big as my little pinky, half my pinky size.
It's a cute Kermit the Frog.
And my son just wanted to pet it. At first, he couldn't see it because he's just like, "What? Huh?" And then I'm like, "Okay, let's use this as an experiment versus getting upset." I'm like, "Frogs ain't gonna get me. There's no snakes in Hawaii, so snakes I don't have to worry about."
Oh wow!
Spiders I've never had an issue with.
Okay.
What bugs me, I think. Oh, let me not give the dark forces. Let me say something and watch it appear outside.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. Now, see, you almost fell for it. You almost fell for it. You almost had me.
And that is how to approach the energies, really, right? Like, it's comical how stressful the crunch has been put on all of us. It's so comical, and it's also very distracting for the fact that it's an election year. Right? None of us can really pay attention. They're doing a boat and pony show with who they're having come out. It's the most dramatic tea spillage ever.
And most of us have stopped watching the news because we're just tired of hearing about the corona numbers. So they're doing it for themselves because half of us haven't watched.
That's true. That's true. I know that's true for me. I'm like, what's going on? Okay, people have to tell me. I know, okay.
Oh, they're still lying to me? I should have done known.
Okay, next. I'm not even trying to get all caught up in that web of stuff.
Unless they come on and they look like they just been through what we've been through, and they're just kind of tired and just like, here we are at the debate. I'm here with you, America. And I might believe. They come out all polished and calm.
Yeah, you want my vote? You talk to me about the energy that has just hit you and how you have responded and not reacted, and then we'll talk.
There you go.
Oh, that's
but now also with this energy of this trigger, we've also had like this calm. I don't know if you all have had it. I've had it. And it's almost been like a giddy calm. And I feel really good, but it's kind of like antsy. It's like that, Christmas is a couple days away kind of feeling. And it's like, actually, but gave it the best example. She said it's like that. My birthday's in 3 days, and I wonder if everybody's coming to my party, and I wonder what they're going to bring me, and I wonder what kind of cake I'm going to get. And it's that kind of the giddiness I'm getting, but it's really calm.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like a smirk. It's just that. I feel it. I feel you.
I like that. I like that.
I like that too. That's real good. Yeah, and that's how I feel too. I mean, even with the little whatever the wahoo's or yahoos, the ta that comes up in tap dances, I still felt a calm that went through. It's like, okay, that was said, that was expressed, that was it, and I just went right back to this like, but I feel at peace. I feel at peace about the whole thing.
And then you start going, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel at peace after everything that just happened?
You think in my head, because I'm like, you really should be upset. And I'm like, no, not really. And it's not a negative, and it's not a positive. It's just like a neutral. Right there.
I've been looking into the kind of. I realized that too, because it's almost like a dramatic. For me, in my placements in astrology and so on and so forth, I've been learning more about myself in that facet to see how to balance. And I tend to want to assist people in their drama circle. And it's like, I have to say, I've been really, really selective and isolating for the amount of drama that I'm willing to chew and swallow at this time versus regurgitate back at you, right? Because that's the reflection part. And then there's the it's okay to have peace. It's okay to be in love. It's okay to have something that you've never experienced before. And just kind of like, not a spoiler, but a spoiler alert. I got this heads up because I was filming Divine Goddess Corner with Raquel, and she started talking about her perspective on men, and it was based on her father. And then I went off on this tangent about the people that didn't really have positive male.
She was saying it. It was good.
You know who's starting us,
That was not my fault this time.
Yeah, you know what? I did somebody have a conversation. I think it was David. I did, saying about that as well, about the negative and how that kind of plays a part, of not having that role model play a part as well as helping you to really be able to feel. I seen them showing me almost like a puzzle piece. It's like it's that one little piece that's kind of missing as well. But I will be curious to hear what's her take on it. I'm gonna take out so she can come back in with that. But yeah, I'm just curious to see about that. I know it plays a very big part if they're not positive, and that's how you really pretty much see all what males from that point on, from a cognitive behavior standpoint, that affects you since you don't have that parent, that positive role model, Kathy D.
Right. And, the other thing is, though, you have to then, once again, respond to it. You have to sit down, you have to look at your life, and you have to see, where did I have a really good male role model? And mine was my grandfather. And I dearly loved him. And I was blessed that he lived to be 97. And so that's where, when I think of a male, that's how they should be. I bypass those other ones. Okay. I don't let them come in and taint that wonderful relationship that I had with my grandfather. My daughters have some of the most fantastic uncles, and that have come in and really stepped in. And even this summer, Helen made the comment, there are good guys still out there in the world.
Right.
And so we have to, we're getting to the point now where we've uncovered these things, And at some point we've dealt with them. Now, will we ever have completely dealt with our father issues, our mother issues, abandonment issues? No. And they're going to pop up at the most inappropriate times, but we have to know when to identify them and how to identify them. When you get a feeling, you go, ooh, yeah, no. And you deal with it and you let it go and you just keep on that even keel that we're talking about. So to say, well, I've handled all of them. No, please don't fool yourself with that. Understand you can get a lot of it, but there's still going to be little triggers that are going to pop up. And we have to remember that. And because life is a lifelong learning process.
Right. And Earth is a teachable planet.
Yeah, and we're a teachable planet.
It's going to get it all of the time, regardless of it. Regardless. That's true.
So we have to replace some of those negatives now with the positives. And we've talked the last few weeks about gratitude. And that's where we've got to come back in. This might have been, XYZ might have really stunk. But you know what? I had A, B, and C. And I'm very blessed to have had that. And that's where we're at to be able to look. We have a choice. We can sit and dwell. Well, I always pick wrong guys and I always do this. And there are no good men out there because you're comparing them to the negative that you saw. Right. Or you've been around, or no good women, or no good jobs, or no good bosses, or, I can never get a career. I'm not smart enough, whatever it is. But then you can think back to, I had that one person that believed in me. I had that one great male role model, great female role model, great boss, great, something. You can pull somebody somewhere out of your life and focus on that. And then even, if it's, maybe you didn't have the best mother as a role model, but then you have a friend that had a mother that was fantastic.
Right. And you can use them.
And model yourself to her good qualities. Am I saying everybody's perfect? Absolutely not. Nobody's perfect. But she spent more time with her kids, or cooked more home cooked meals instead of ordering something through a microphone every night. Those kind of things. You can pattern your life after those and use those positive things to help shape your life in the direction you want to go and the way you want it to look. And ultimately, you write it down. This is your new story, and you've got a blank page, and it is what it is. If you want to always be living paycheck to paycheck and, behind the 8 ball when it comes to bills and not being able to do things with your kids or buy things or go places because the money's always tight, well, then stay in that mindset. But if you want different, aspire for different, manifest it, change it, make it what it is.
Right. Yeah. And so that's, again, like you said, I even told my stylist when I was talking to you, when you get out of that shadow side, that is a conscious effort that you've got to make. You have to make the decision every day to not do the same mistakes or live or take, because that's habitual. Those things that shadow, like you said, some of us know about it, some of us don't, and we rely on it. I mean, it's almost like a part of our DNA, our spiritual DNA, or makeup of who we are. And so it's hard for us to kind of let that go. So we have to consciously, like you said, what the Bible says, you die constantly every day, or every day you die daily. So again, you have to find ways in which you are able to let that go as well. It brought something else to me, what you were talking about. Another thing that the young lady had talked about too was saying, when it gets to that point like that, and all these boogers and and there's whatever is going on, get yourself into something else. Find your bliss. Get into a project. That's what she was talking about. Focus. Throw yourself into a project at that point. Then, so you don't keep on focusing, because again, those things, and I've heard them too, those, whatever you want to call it, boogers, like to feed off of that kind of energy, which makes it, and that makes them more powerful. And they kind of throw those things on you so they can be able to, for you to get all upset. And then it's like, oh, goody, I can feast off of that. So you want to kind of take your energy and refocus it into that project. Like I am now, I'm redoing my office downstairs, where I'm buying up things, furniture, to get it all together, since we're going to do remote learning. So that can be a place where I'm going to work, but it'll be a pleasurable place. It won't be no more stacks of boxes that I see in front of me. other projects that I came up with, like starting another channel. So it's like, okay, that happened. I can't stop that from my hustle and flow and things. Let's move on from that and now pour myself into other things and let the universe or whatever unfix and change and smooth out what had happened, that little speed bump that I hit over in that. And so that's another way how you can be able to deal with those negativities or that negativity things, is these energies that's actually happening. You talked about, she frozen again.
Nope, she's kind of moving.
She frozen on mine.
Yep, she frozen.
Hold on a second. April. Oh, April.
Wave at us if you can hear us.
Yeah, she's like she's looking. Uh-oh.
She could be a teacher with that look.
She sure could be. Like, I think I need to go sit down.
That's that look like, did I not just tell you the directions?
I need to say, did she just call me? I think I need to go sit down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
God. I wanted to hear what she was talking about, the nail ones.
It's got to be good because it keeps kicking her off.
I'm kicking it off. They don't want to, man. Okay, so.
Well, the quickest way we can change from those little boogery things, even before we go, because sometimes we carry that residual with us if we're aggravated.
Yes.
And then we even though we're working on another project that it's just still there at us, throw on some music. Throw on, me, it's like Jimmy Buffett, Kid Rock, John Cougar Mellencamp or John Mellencamp or John Cougar, or whatever he's going by now, and throw that on, and that'll immediately, one of your songs, that is your upbeat playlist, and do that, and that'll transports you to a memory usually, and it's usually a good memory, and so go there and then change your project, but in the transition, put that song on.
Okay, that makes sense, right? And sometimes you have to up and move from one room to another, or go outside and get some air, or dance, do some type of movement or something like that to kind of shift what's actually going on with that. I know somebody was talking about that, like it's very important during this time for you to be able to like cleanse yourself, say salt bath, also sage, Palo Santos, all that stuff, and the incense, and do all those things. Your house, your cells, do all those things also as well to kind of cleanse the energy out your aura as well, so that doesn't happen.
And also just open a window, even if it's just a little bit, and speak the clearing into your room.
Right.
So if you have access to the Palo Santo and the sage and stuff.
All those things too as well. That's another good way for you to be able to kind of clear yourself and clear the environment as well when they talk about.
And salt works wonderful too.
Well.
Yeah.
Hello, she's back. All right, finish what you're saying.
Clear. You mean before the power went out and then the wireless refused to turn back on?
Oh,
and then my phone stopped working?
Yeah. Oh, they were.
When it all went down, who is this resistant? Is it you?
There she go with that look. I'm gone. I hear my mother calling.
Oh man, this was just that was funny. Okay, the point was,
Okay, come on, because we've been waiting on this.
We some of us that did not have fathers or did not have appropriate father figures do not know how to trust source, because we're just living in that state of that space in the childhood. And I referenced back to watching Divine Sunshine, some of the stuff about abandonment, some of the stuff about just being used as like a look, see, I sired offspring, but now I'm going to push this female or this masculine in a way that it's unbalanced and unhealthy, because that's the way I was designed and pushed as well. Right. Mm-hmm. And so coming to terms with the fact that maybe you don't have the greatest relationship with the masculine figure, or maybe you just don't know how to trust that space But once you re-examine and you allow for newness to be, allow for there to be that creation of new, nothing can distract from that. You might see parts of your shadow that come out that say, oh, you're right, I still am not trusting myself. I'm still not trusting that God is going to do the work for me. I got to do it myself. I got to make sure that I'm independent. I refuse to take any type of, I'm not a charity case. And it's like, the universe doesn't look at you like charity. The universe just looks at you like, God looks at you like, this is what we do for you. This is what is meant for you, you know? And so learning how to flow into that space, knowing that everything is safe and comfortable, and putting yourself in that space to allow for safety to be, putting yourself in that space for allowing that peace. Because it's okay to have peace be your base level, and then you move up from there as well. Because we keep thinking, oh, I got to be under pressure or feel anxiety in order for growth. And it's like, sometimes you can just choose to grow. It's like you're saying the aha versus the tower, right? You can choose to step into that wholeheartedly. You can trust fall in the universe and know it's going to catch you, you know? You're not going to be lonely for the rest of your life. But sometimes you need to learn how to receive love. I don't know what happened the last 10 minutes.
We talked about Kathy D paying us $1 million a piece. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's right after our whole Disney deal. So, yeah.
Oh, how cute would we look? Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Yay!
I want to be the princess.
Yes, yes, yes. The kisses the frog. Who is that? That's Tierra. What's the one?
The only black one. They gave her the frog.
Yeah.
Hey, but he was a cute prince, so.
He sure was.
And you should see the guy that plays him actually at Walt Disney World. He's very nice looking. He's very easy on the eyes. Let me tell you.
All the princes are easy on the eyes.
No.
Like, really? There's ugly princes?
God. Because they wear the wigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he has to be kind of natural. And have the real hair and stuff. You can't really put a wig on that would look like that. And so, yeah, Prince Charming with Cinderella can get a little freaky at times. Like, and
the wig off to the side.
Yeah, it's like your head just moved and your hair stayed. That's not good.
What? Can you blame me? I'm obsessed with shoes. No, wait, that's somebody else. Oh no,
yeah, that's Cinderella. Well, and then there's Snow White with her guy who goes around kissing random girls in the forest that live with 7 little men. So your standards, you get some issues, buddy.
What was an interesting analogy I've heard once is like the 7 chakras or the 7 dwarves, and they lead you to the enlightenment where you get a kiss from the divine and it brings you back into your awareness. It's very interesting. I was like, that's making me watch all the movies differently. And I was like, Lion King, how are they going to fix that one? How are you going to metaphor your way out of that debacle where the brother throws the other brother off of the mountain?
Oh, that would be his shadow side.
Shadow.
That's the shadow.
Oh, shadow.
And his name was yeah, wasn't it Scar?
Scar.
That's the shadow side of King Mufasa.
Your scars that you get from life, from lessons from people.
And then your intuition is the little monkey.
Right.
Because he says, do you know your name? And he said, I know my name. Do you know my name? Of course I know your name. And then he rambles on that little thing where he follows him through the jungle.
Oh. Wait, what? We still talking about the Lion King? Man,
yeah, it's when Simba's grown and they find him. After he's lived with Timon and Pumbaa.
Right.
Okay. It's been a while, just saying.
Watch the Lion King.
I always cry. I'm like, how could they do this? How could they teach the children about this? Poor baby.
Oh,
like
Bambi.
watching Bambi.
That's the one.
I just won't watch the first 10 minutes.
I can't watch Bambi.
Oh, I can't either. Ooh, I just like, ooh, Lord, when I seen it the first time and I was over with. I was like, I can't watch any more of this movie. I mean, they shot the mother. Oh my God, I'm out. I can't do it.
Oh yeah, that was it. I was done. And
I
had
can't.
abandonment, the biggest fear was losing my mom. As a little kid, I literally laid on the floor of the Contemporary Hotel when it came out there in Disney, because employees' kids could go and see the movies before they came out, and literally just laid there and wailed and sobbed. I had to be carried out. I was just so distraught.
Yeah.
That's what they should put in front of every Disney movie as a trigger warning, because I feel like those are the most traumatizing experiences I had as a child. Not even the real life, like whatever scary thing. It was the movie when you're open and innocent. You have your suspension of disbelief. You just shed it, and then like they horrify you or give you some like deep seated like. But it shows you about the time and the space and like where things were created. Like art can be created from things just being beautiful and good. Do we have to allow in this new time that we're building? We don't need to have traumatized kids in order for them to become artists or musicians or great scientists or motivated for life. They can just be allowed to follow their passion, be allowed to follow their dream, and it gets better from there. We get new base levels in order to create more.
Right.
Yeah, and that's really going to be like, especially your son's generation, because we still have some of the traumatization that we grew up with. Those of us that have kids now, that are old enough and that are older and in teenage years and stuff. Yeah, they're still recovering from our stuff. So as much as we try to understand what they're going through, they're pulling up and jumping on a cause and really standing behind things that we don't know how to handle exactly. You want to encourage them, you want to support them, but when your daughter tells you she wants to go to, a riot or a rally about something, and you're like, no, you weigh 96 pounds and they would carry you away. No, you're not going. Then it's like, am I being a bad mother? Am I being overprotective? And then, I had somebody tell me the best part. And April, I think it's you. You can go to those things once you're 18, but until then, it doesn't matter if you're there or not, because you can't vote. And that was the way I explained it to her. It wasn't you. Well, it was somebody that explained it that way. I
would have been like, why do you think that the riots even work or rally? Right? What is the actual message behind the riot? Right? They're trying to get you into control by putting you in a highly emotional state when you're out in that field. Because what are they going to do? They're going to trigger you. And now that you're emotionally triggered, what are you going to do? You're going to react instead of respond. And why is that? Why? Right? So the best thing I would say for you is, nose to the books, darling. Be politically active and actually take them down from the inside, my love.
Yeah.
Go.
Good. Auntie April, we're calling you the next time some harebrained idea comes up.
Yeah.
Helen for president.
Yeah, no, there are too many skeletons in those closets for the family. We don't need that. Thank you.
America's family.
Yeah.
Everybody's on some kind of med, probably. Unfortunately. You ever saw that Don't Mess with a Nation That Needs Medication?
Right.
Her press secretary will be like, okay, we have to we have to deal with that one too. Are you sure you're blood related to that one? Oh, yeah. So,
well, which one can we talk about? The one that's addicted to crack or the one that's addicted to Oxycontin?
Yeah. Helen will be like, no, really, we have to talk about that one. It's my mom, and I'm not addicted to either one, so we'll just.
Oh yeah, no, that's not.
I know. Just so those two stories don't get crossed,
Worst case scenario, public out in there, they're trying to make everything extreme, right? Yeah. Somebody's addicted to something. She was addicted to Oreos for at least 15 minutes when I was spying on her that one time.
Yeah, we found this clip where she said she's addicted to crack. Now this is her mother. Like, no, you shouldn't vote for her. We don't want that. So you got? I
don't care if you vote for me or not.
Yeah, that's true. You got anything for us, April?
Seeing as how I was checked out for 10 minutes, I could I could wait until after I got some advice from Kathy D or a
Okay.
card from you. Either way,
You need a advice. Let's see. Let's see. What do I have up?
it's so hard to open the eye after the wink.
It's open.
You could always wink like
Okay,
my
so
children did when they were little. That was their wink.
That's so cute. That's like I Dream a Genie, kind of.
I'd say, yeah, I'd call them, but wink at me. They go,
Okay, so what should we
perfect.
do? Ta. What's going on with the images? Okay. Ooh, that's a lot.
Watch your cards burst into flames.
That is a lot. Okay, well, we got a message here. Oh, so right now they say,
All right, make us small, make you big.
thank you.
No, that's the wrong one.
There you
There
go.
we go.
So right now we got the thing of hopeful. Okay, so this is what they're saying right now. Sources telling us that in our emotions, although we got a mixed bag of emotions, we should be hopeful. And so it's like they got a person planting seeds here. So again, they told us, especially with this new moon, we should be planting our intentions as far as where we actually want to go. So it said be optimistic, expectant, and full of faith. This is what they have here. It almost, I don't know why when I first looked at it, it looked like a bird's nest.
It did. It does.
And it looked like it's a bird's nest. And like it was like to me, also being hopeful. But I guess to me, I was thinking, be prepared to be pushed out too, to be able to fly and try out your wings too at this. But she's talking about projects, like she had said there. So you got to be hopeful and optimistic. But I will also say to be is a process of you being like a baby bird, and soon you'll be able to fly on your own. Now that's what I picked up here.
Well, and also the fact that you've already got plants on one side and then the seeds. And I guess some of that's from me reading the book about the late bloomers. But it's like that once, the harvest has already happened. And then they refer to the fact that it's those last surprise flowers that bloom once you think your garden's done. That always seem to be the most beautiful because they come later and they're more interesting in their own way.
Gotcha. Beautiful.
That's a really nice sentiment.
Yes, that is.
Seeing I'm a late bloomer. Yeah, I like that one.
Interesting. Then we got the next card, which is hopeless, though. Okay, so some of us might be feeling like we tossed about at sea with these energies that's going on. It's like my ship was sailing, and then whammo, this came along, and now it's like, where do I go from here? So we got to watch this being pessimistic, being despondent, and defeated. As emotionally we getting kind of tossed around by these energies. Because to me, although this is water, but it looks like energies bouncing around too as well. And it's like, okay, my ship is broken. Now what? Like that. So,
and this one is interesting too because it's like the water, it's all emotional, and the other one was very earth-based, which is more like grounded kind of stuff.
That's a very good point there. So so again, you ground earth, like you said, be hopeful. So you need to ground yourself. And hopeless, now we're talking about the emotions, the water aspect, which is our emotions here as well. They said that we might even feel like we kind of like, again, next one, they say we might even feel kind of inadequate. Well, we're going chucking up the hill. We got all these things that we're trying to move and kind of move things out of our space and our being as well. And we might feel inadequate. We got these challenges too. This is kind of in the past. That's been in the background, but we're still kind of chugging, almost like feel like the little train that could. So we have to deal with our worthless, incompetent, and ill-equipped. We might feel like we're not equipped right now to handle things, but again, when we have these different lessons that come along, that's why they're saying they're breaking up that shadow so that when things do come, we will be ready. These lessons that come along. Every time we learn something, and I know Daniellleboomlle said we don't take L's, we take lessons on this journey. And also, when you feel inadequate about things, you learn from that. You gain knowledge from your mistakes. You gain knowledge from those little bumps in the road. So again, that's going to help you to propel you to ascend to go to the next level. Now, that's what I see. Put you really on the right path. Although it might be a steep climb to get there, but you're going to get there. So is there, have you seen something else?
Yeah, you see with the mountains in the back, so you've been through those trials and tribulations, and now the road's really smooth, even though it's steep, but you're
Right.
pulling all that stuff with you. And as
Okay.
you've learned your lesson, you need to let go of the baggage, because that little car would go shooting up that hill
Right.
once you learn to let go of the baggage.
Right. True. That's that 16 boxes instead of 16 hefty bags. In that U-Haul. So again, like I said, after you feel those things, those triumphs there, you should be, according to spirit, you should be inspired. I told you to focus in on your bliss. That's what the young lady said about projects. Look at that more so. Create that music. Like Kathy had said earlier, you know, if you can't think, get you some music and pop that on and kind of shift your energy as well. This also looks like this is like they're writing. This could be again. This looks like a Kathy D thing. Journal it, write it. So I think you're saying that too as well to inspire you. You got that idea. You went to sleep. Remember the first 5 minutes after you wake up, you're in that alpha state where you were able to baby to you've been straight from source and you can get those ideas. Some might came to you in a dream. Get that dream journal or something right next to your bed and write down what you're saying. Oh, I got an idea about what I could use on the channel. Okay, write it down. You know, those things as well. So they said moved, stimulated, and challenged. And like I said before, even through those challenges, they will move you and stimulate you to be able to create, see yourself differently. Maybe say, I got a new way how I can tackle that shadow side. You know, you'll be able to have a new perspective on things too. That's why I kind of see this too, a new perspective as well. Anybody else see anything else?
He is writing with a feather.
Yes.
So it kind of circles back to me about that hopeful, that
Okay.
that hopefulness, and then once we fly, we can everything is a tool. Everything suddenly becomes a resource where we thought we didn't have the ability to go on. We realize now that everything is that can be used for the better. Everything can be made into art or beauty or whatever we choose.
Right, very good. So we have to make sure that the spirit said it got two cards. We got to watch it. That make sure that with this energy, that when we do move into that we're not finding ourselves being irritated, especially when we talk about with all these energies. This is freedom. He's got flies all around him. It's like this little, like we say, the little boogers that's all around us. Like, now you can't do that. Now I know you done thought of something new, but I think maybe this ain't the best time for you to do it right now. Maybe you need to put that on hold because you got so much stuff going on. So you got that kind of voice that's going on in your head that you got to kind of like say, swat them away, get away, you know, those things. So it might say you might feel annoyed, aggravated, or bothered. Although you're trying, as horses represent freedom. So this is what you're actually on. But in order to get freedom, since he's the color brown, that means you got to eliminate some things too. I'm sorry. Put you on this side. If somebody see this, he looks tired too. It's like, I'm so tired. I wish this stuff just stopped bothering me.
Well, it's mostly coming at his eyes and his nose and his
Okay.
mouth in
Yeah.
terms of the flies.
Right.
So, like, you might be irritated by what you're seeing, by what you've experienced before. You might have done all this kind of work and thinking you should be on the other side by now, but it's okay that you're still having clearing some stuff out.
Right.
The nose for me, not only is it about opening the heart and stuff, but it's also about memories,
Yeah.
like just smelling and how memories can come through. And since all this stuff is really purging out, it's bringing up some really deep-seated insecurities and deep-seated, like, this old paradigm past stuff that just no longer serves. So watch what comes out your mouth, because we are creating, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Every breath that we use.
Every breath you take. Every move you make. Nah, all right. And the last one here is bored. Okay, so you have to make sure that again that although things aren't moving and you get irritated, this is another thing they want you to kind of watch about the being uninterested, apathetic, and jaded about things. You keep on looking. To me, it's like a person sitting there watching. Like, it should have been a change by now. What's going on here? You know, what's going on with the time now? Waiting on divine time don't look like it's ever happening. And so you're really not living in the now. You keep on, to me, it's like the clock is determining how you thinking about things that happened to the past, from the past, and how things are working out is in the future, and instead of you living in the now, and you shouldn't be bored by that as well. And you're looking at a wall. So to me, a wall is like, again, something like a challenge, or something that's stopping you from being able to see, beyond that. It's just like a barrier for you. And so that's another thing too, as well. You got the barrier, and to me, the barrier is time. Like it should be happening now, like yesterday. So that's another thing that's causing the issue too, as well. Anybody see something else?
Well, the lines on the wall where it looks like the clock is actually moved.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like been drug.
Okay.
On that
And
note, you're staring at the
if
clock
you look
so
at
hard.
it, but if you
You're
look
not
at it, the time on the clock is 11:11.
she did. She straight up dropped that. I would have too.
It is. If you look
But-
at it, it looks like it's 11:11 is the time on the clock. So you're sitting there waiting and not holding space and moving on with your life, and you've got to stop with that being bored.
That is funny. That is funny.
All right, I got to pull my shades down. Yep, it is. Do look like it's 11:11.
It's really funny. I think it's funny too that you said it looks like the clock has moved. Like you're staring so much about the time that you're not even noticing the fact that the clock moved, like the wall moved. Like there's a lot of interesting dynamics and energetics and magic happening. Are you even noticing? Are you too busy waiting at the deadline? Okay, if I do
But it's
X, Y,
happening in
and Z.
small increments.
Well, I mean, that looked like that clock shifted a good 1.5 feet. I mean, I don't know about the dimensions of the wall. It's been a while since I took one of those physics classes of if the clock moves from point A to point
Well, the
B.
shadow's wrong for that because you can't tell if the flagpole is casting a shadow by.
Oh, so funny. I love that it's 11:11 on that clock.
Yeah, me too. That's interesting. And these cards don't have nothing to do with twin flame stuff. They're just regular cards that they use for like really psychology of the mind. So that's interesting. They put it on there.
Well, leave it to me to find it.
Right? Twin flames will always, they're in every little thing on that one. So okay, so what we want to do next, ladies?
Okay. So, everybody, take a deep breath.
Okay.
Just get seated in your body. Appreciate this beautiful vessel that you've been given. This tool for the divine to enjoy this earthly plane. And every experience that you feel that's weighing on you, I want you to feel all of it at once. Just go ahead and slump. Slump under the weight of all of it. Just go. Oh. Now take a deep breath. Allow it to kind of melt off of you. It's falling off your back. It's falling off the wayside. Maybe angels or guardians or ancestors. God himself is coming and they're lifting it off of you and just taking it off your shoulder. And I want you to look behind you. What do you see? Look behind you. What do you see?
An angel.
What do you see? Touched by an angel. She really does see an angel. What about you, Kennedy? What you see?
A wall.
She froze. Oh, a wall. See? And what's on that wall?
A wall. Paint.
Paint. Okay. I was going for nothing, but paint works because that's accurate. I just see a little tapestry behind me. Where are you at home? What do you see behind you? Something you knew was there the whole time. Something you've seen every single day up until this point, unless you just painted the wall or you just got a brand new painting up behind you. Something you're used to. So all that weight was perceived. All that weight was suggested. So what else are you suggesting that is holding you down, something invisible that you're carrying that you don't need to carry? Is it an attitude? Is it an old belief or thought pattern that was taught to you? What is it that you're carrying that you no longer need to carry, and you get to just let the angel behind you take it off your shoulders? What is it that you can just let be like nothing? Let be like paint on the wall. Let be like just an art, something you look at, but it isn't actually you. So let's just take a deep breath into that. Do you feel anywhere in your body that you're holding this emotion, that you're holding this attitude? Now breathe into that space. If you're holding, breathe in that space of stiffness. And I want you to stretch a little bit, kind of wiggle a little bit. Breathe into those spaces. Allow yourself to lift that. Allow the universe to come in and God to come in and just lift that off of you. And appreciate. You are doing so much work right now. Just being here with us, just holding this space, just being on your own timing and learning and studying yourself. You are the gift. And all these perceived weights are nothing but just paint. And all that space that you created, all that energy and attitude and all of the stuff that you just brought up, I want you to just allow deep from the universe to come in through your crown, your third eye, and then it reflects like a disco ball to your whole body and all those little points that need that extra light. And allow that light to come in and release the parts of the shadow that you're holding, that you're aware of, and the parts of the shadow that you're holding that you're not aware of, giving you a greater perspective, this light from the universe. And that deep red gold and magma comes up from the earth into your feet, into your ankles, into your knees, into your hips, and hits your root like another little red disco ball, and it shoots light everywhere, all throughout your body. So there's white light and red light just floating through all the different channels, all the different spaces in your body, allowing you to see the different aspects that you've been holding, that you've been carrying. And I want you to allow them to have space to release from you. And let them go. Allow the angels to come in. Allow God to put his hand through you and guide you on how to release that which no longer serves. Allow the winds to pick up, to change that and sweep it away. Now allow that sweet nectar to just fill you up with love and light and peace and joy and safety and security and connection. And now you are you. Now you are holding room for you to be the light and love you know you have been put here on earth to be. And so it is. Amen. Everybody, here we are. Come back in now. Tap. I like the tappy tap'ems. Tap my feet. Wiggle, feel that body. Ooh.
Wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. All right. We got any final thoughts? Any final thoughts about today's discussion? Final thoughts? Oh,
You know
with
what
this
came
energy, we need to be really.
uh-huh.
Oh, go ahead with this energy. What?
Oh, because you're like, you know what came up, and I was like, oh, this must be good. I'll stop.
It was a song.
With this
It was a
energy,
song.
oh,
It's so fine. I'll do it. It's so
mindful
hard.
we have some lag going on here.
I understand.
We need to be mindful of the distance we make, and And there's a lot of people, and I'm seeing it in a lot of the comments right now on different readers and different channels. Oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to find a soulmate, or I'm going to find somebody to date, or it's got to be a personal decision. It's got to be something. If you feel you are ready for that, fantastic. But if you're still waiting for your knight in shining armor to come in and ride in and sweep you off your feet, then maybe that's not the time to try to find someone to come in and save you. So be very mindful as these shadow aspects are coming up and these things are coming up. Be very mindful of your choices. So respond, not react. Guy might be cute in a grocery store, might drive a nice car, but if you're not to the point where you understand, where you are and who you are, probably not a good time. So that would be my take on these energies with a lot of things.
Yeah. And
I want to say that the clock has moved.
that's a good one.
That being said, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to receive help. It's okay to have to confront these parts of yourself. I can say from personal experience that I pushed away my twin because they really did want to save me, but they wanted a bunch of other drama with it. And I knew that vibrationally, I was getting what I was attracting, right? Whatever you're putting out is usually what you're attracting, and you're holding in that vibration. And parts of me, I just couldn't even face. So I was like, if I'm not, I don't want to have this energy dynamic of myself in this aspect, and I don't know how to prepare or let that go. So, in terms of just honoring where you are, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes just like if they're in a karmic situation, and they're, we often hear, oh, they're learning a lesson, or they're doing this kind of process. Sometimes that might be part of your process too, to be honest with you. One of my favorites, now she would never ever say to date other people. That is honestly what she would say. But if your twin can fill in energetically for you what it is that you're needing. So if you need romantic gestures, perhaps there may be a suitor that wants to be romantic with you. But if you know you're not all the way in it and your heart's not in it, just be real, like 100% with them, and then still allow yourself to receive that, because that's what you're calling in. But also don't put on airs, right? And then also, like, there's the point of pushing people away because you're too afraid that you're not good enough, or you're not ready enough, or you're this or that. That's also one aspect that can be part of the shadow, which is avoiding love altogether, right? And so when you do actually get into that connection with your other, you might just continue to push them away, which brings up their abandonment issues, which, it's a triggery type situation. So no matter what, just be true to yourself.
Right.
Because you have to live with you. To be honest.
That's true.
And if you wouldn't date you, don't go date anybody else.
I don't know about that, because that's avoidance too, right? Because I could always pick on myself to the point where I don't think I should be dating or dateable, period, right? Oh, my money's not perfect. Oh, my clothing isn't right. Or, maybe I'm judging myself because of XYZ. So use your discernment.
Yeah, but if you're doing that to yourself, you don't need to. That's the thing. You need to be in that healthy place where you talk to yourself well and not throw up all those negative. So that's part of that, being in union with yourself.
Yeah, that's almost getting back to the same thing about the responding and reacting. If you're at the point that say, well, I don't do this because he did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Now you're acting. You're not responding, not thinking about it. Or I did, you know what? I just feel like I got to have me somebody. I want somebody to have their arms around me and feeling me at night and all that sexual healing. Okay, now you're reacting. You're not responding. It's the whole thing, because again, it don't have to be somebody set you off. You can have that dialogue even with yourself. as well. That's that shadow that's saying, oh, you know, that's that abandonment that's coming up. Well, I got to have somebody. I can't sit here just wait forever. Whenever he get his stuff together, oh, wait a second. Nah, it's coming out. That's abandonment and rejection. And so now how you find yourself handling that? I'm going to go into reactionary stance. This is what I'm doing. Like they say, to get over one, you get under another one. Wait a second. That don't always work. And that's not always the solution to that. So, again, it's time for you to kind of take some time out. If you're always reaching for others for the solution, how about this time you reach for yourself and be the solution to yourself? That's the main thing that really with these things that's going on, these little boogers or things that's going on, energies, it comes back to self. It just comes back to self. No matter way you chop it up, it's time for you to take that time out with self.
And that's the thing.
We've got people out here that have been waiting like 20, 30 years to be with their other. And you know, that's not necessarily for everybody. And so when you are aiming at perfection, realize perfection is just a word in a dictionary. There's no actual perfection. There's no actual, you know, you just get better and better. You're aiming at it. Right? It's like being normal, right? What is normal? That's just a made up word too. Right? Stabilized. I mean, there's a level. There's a level. Let's be real. There's a level of stabilization that is like, okay, and then you're fooling yourself. You're clearly just losing it. But, you know, nobody's saying to punish yourself either.
Right.
Because that's another level of that complex.
That sure is, isn't it? Another level. Which is another level that we're going to say for what? The Sandbox experience on this Friday, Q&A Live. Yes. Beautiful segue. Thank you, April, for that segue. There we go. All right. PineappleFishLifeCoaching.com. Go to Kathy B for that Jedi mind trickster there that she can share some of her tools and ways and skills of how you can be able to make that mind shift in your mind to be able to deal with these little boogers and whatever things and energies that's jumping off around, and make sure that she can also be able to do, she's got hypnotherapy as well. So again, some of you all say I'm stuck. I was already stuck, but it looked like with these energies, it didn't got worse. Guess what? I think you need to kind of trek on over there to Kathy D and let her kind of straighten you out and make that shift in your mind for you. So go to PineappleFishLifeCoaching.com. And also, if you love that meditation that our own Hawaiian goddess was giving us, go to MadeForThisGoldenLife.com. This is Golden Lifestyles Unlimited. She has more resources there that you can get. She has also clearing of the body clearings. She also has a pocket therapy over there happening. So she's got a lot of great stuff happening, helping you for you to be able to go to that next level and to clear your energy. So these boogers or these energies won't be so taxing on you during these periods as well. Okay, now also we have a package that all three of us that we also offer you all as well. Make sure that if you're saying, okay, you know what, I want to see all three of you all because I want the holistic approach. I want the spirit, I want the mind, and I want the body aspect. So make sure you check on over there at the divineunisoulsandlove.co and get the playground experience, which you come up with the topic, and then we build a program around what your needs and what you need as well. So make sure that you hit us up on that. And if you like the readings that I did as well, make sure that you go trek over there to the divineunisoulsandlove.co for a reading for you to book one also with me. And if you like what we're throwing down on this station here or this channel here, make sure you hit the click, like, share, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can find out what other great things that we're doing here on the playground experience as well. So we know that this Friday will be on. Make sure you look and see because we kind of scatter our times between 6 and 7-ish Central Time. So we'll be on. Promise you, we'll be on. Just play in the sandbox until we get there, but we will eventually get there. So make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so you can be able to get some more of that good stuff that's going on. Is there any other announcements or anything else that we need to know about some great stuff that you're doing?
Well, we need to remind everybody we don't have, if you're holding out on coming to the playground and playing with us, they need to go ahead and book us because prices are going up.
Right, that's right. That is right. Yes, prices are going up. They are going up, right? Yes, because we're experts. We're not one of them ones that say, "Oh, I just wish I can do something and experiment." And we are experts in our field, so we want to make sure that we have that great energy exchange where we're pouring in all this good stuff into you, and you're pouring in all that other good stuff and resources back into us as well. So that's that energy exchange and flow. April, you got any specials? You ain't got no specials?
Oh no, I have some specials. I'm going on through August. Just come to my website, check it out. I've got some really cool. If you want a sampler set of energy work for a very, very inexpensive price, we can really get cut through from some stuff. And I have some precursor stuff that I want you to do before you come in, so you're able to receive that energy. Usually, if you've worked with me before, I'll hold the discount out for you a little longer. But yeah, come check me out. Come check all of us out. We're all very, very powerful. And now's the time. There's no better time than what? And now.
The clock on the card that says 11:11.
Oh, and I'm working on the certification, or not certification, but learning the style of doing hypnotic gastric, what is it, lap band. So it is a way to do like lap band for weight loss, but it's all through hypnosis, so you don't have to do surgery.
What?
So,
that's intense. If you couple it with I'm doing a 30-day transformation. I've got some like nutritional stuff and be able to grow your own food kind of stuff, because the world's getting a very interesting place. You might as well be in charge of your own consumption.
Yeah, no joke. The grocery store's getting ridiculous.
And your own nutrition. They're starting to, because they ship a lot of the stuff in here, they're going to end up raising their prices because the shipping people are raising their prices by 46%. It's crazy raises.
Yeah.
They need to pay their truck drivers more.
Right, true. Yeah, one of my former students is a truck driver, so I know. You're right. Pay my baby more. Most definitely.
They work hard. They sure do.
They do.
Yeah, she works hard, very hard on that one. And then also I got my own channel, the Unicorn channel, which is Divine Matters of the Heart. Make sure you click over there and you subscribe to that channel as well. So this is on my Divine Masculine. This is the one that makes you think, and the other one makes you feel. So make sure you check that out. All right, even baby nephew said it's time to go, y'all. All right, Captain P, get us on out of here.
Wishing you the best life ever. See you real soon.
Stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascending. Namaste, namago. Love you. All right, see you this Friday in the Sandbox Q&A live. Yay!
Come play.